Gone are the days that you can roll up to the store, put $50 in the Walmart machine, and get a video game out and have it forever and enjoy that for the rest of your life. It's over, guys. Gaming has gone mainstream, and with that has come microtransactions that have apparently killed gaming. That's the video we're going to be checking out today by FuzzDove. And if you want my take on this, yeah, microtransactions have made gaming a lot worse, and this is just a product of gaming becoming mainstream. Anything becomes mainstream, then all the corporate, you know, all that stuff comes in there. And I don't see microtransactions going away anytime soon. It is just a byproduct of we're in end stage capitalism, and gaming's mainstream. I just don't see it going anywhere, but I do think microtransactions have gotten a lot better. My opinion on microtransactions and anything like that in games, as long as you can't pay for power, then it's all good with me. All good with me. You know what I mean? As long as you're only buying cosmetics and you're not paying for progression or power, then I personally don't have a problem with microtransactions. Obviously, it would be amazing if those didn't exist. But again, we're just in end-stage capitalism, and this is just what it is if something goes mainstream. But let's check out what FuzzDove has to say. If you guys like this video, make sure you show FuzzDove some love. He's a very small creator here, and I haven't seen the video, but let's check it out.
Transactions killed gaming. You see, in the early days of gaming, you used to be able to purchase a brand new game and pop that bad boy in the disc tray and
hey, that's what I just said.
Descension into degeneracy.
This is true.
Nowadays, when you buy a new game, you might as well buy some lube, and while your 60-gigabyte game is downloading, you can go ahead and begin lubing up your asshole for maximum efficiency in preparation of being fucked by whatever game company you purchased from. In my view, most AAA companies in many ways have really lost their touch in terms of video game creation. It's a damn shame whenever I see a new video game being teased, I have to worry about whether or not some sort of predatory loot box system has been baked into the progression system of the game, therefore ruining.
Yeah, that's my take. As long as the battle pass doesn't progress you through the game or the microtransactions, then it's fine. And as I said before, my take is already still the same based off of what he said. This is not like a new thing. It's just a byproduct of gaming being mainstream. And this is just anything's mainstream. The corporations are trying to suck all the money they can out of it.
The whole experience and completely shitting on your hopes and dreams. And the worst part about it is the fact that you basically threw your money down the shitter. Even if the microtransactions are only cosmetic items, it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth from the fact that items only acquirable through real-life payment are going to look the coolest compared to whatever you can unlock just by playing the game.
Personally, I don't really care that much. I see this take as long as the stuff you can acquire free through the game is comparable to what you can than what you can purchase or what you can achieve through like you know, like I'll give the example of like League of Legends. You get like loot as you play the game, like you get keys and boxes, and you can get skins for free that way. I have loads of skins for free on League of Legends through that way. I think as long as it's like that, where you can unlock some of the really pretty stuff, or the stuff that is completely free that you just unlock through the game is also comparable to the stuff you can pay for. The stuff you can pay for is always should look better as you pay real money. Then I have zero problem with that. As I said, my personal take is my character could look like a piece of shit and I wouldn't care. Like I just would not care. I just don't care about those things very much. But like just think about it in general, I totally understand the take. And if your player looks like a piece of shit and then you can pay to look really awesome, then that sucks for a lot of people. Totally understand that.
And this is done on purpose, of course, to incentivize you into giving in and paying with your hard-earned cash. Imagine if in Halo 3, the recon helmet was behind a paywall. Instead of
I mean, Halo 3, dude, this is just so good. This is a bygone era. We can never get back, guys. We're never getting back. We're never getting back.
Personally being given to you by the Bungie developers if you beat them in a multiplayer match. The only exception is if the game is completely free. This is the only time this doesn't bother me as much. However, not always. Clash of Clans, a free game that I played.
Well, Clash of Clans, you play for power in this game.
For about 3 weeks.
You pay for power.
Loves to incentivize you into paying to progress. Even as a teenager, I knew this was complete bullshit. And so I quit playing. To be fair though, it is primarily a mobile game. So it sort of gets off the hook. But then there's
I don't think mobile games are off the hook either. It's just shitty. It just sucks that you have to pay for progression.
some games that are so unapologetically predatory that it's downright insulting. GTA 5 is a major offender of this to this day. That game is such a scam, even their most dedicated players are starting to call out Rockstar for milking their player base.
I don't play GTA, so I'm pretty ignorant to this.
I love playing every now and then, but you can bet your ass you won't catch me buying a shark card. And, well, to tell you the truth, I don't really need to anyway, because I exploited the fuck out of the money glitches when they were around. So now I have all the cool shit, and I didn't even have to spend a penny. Fuck you, Rockstar. Diablo Immortal suffers the same fate as well, unfortunately, albeit a game I've never played
Yeah, you pay for progression and for power in this game. It's a piece of shit.
before, but it only takes one Google search to figure out if I want to play it or not.
This is 800% extra value? I'd be losing money if I didn't buy this.
Supposedly in that game, it takes upward of $100,000
This guy's goofy.
to get to max level. Yeah, fuck that. No thanks. Even in Wizard 101, a game I'm sure most of you have played or at least heard about in your childhood, is completely infested with microtransactions. That includes legitimate gambling with packs, pretty much loot boxes, for very low chances of getting items that are sometimes the best at certain levels.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. My take is still the
fact
same.
that this game is marketed as a children's game, and these gambling practices are heavily promoted, even if only adults are mostly playing nowadays, which the devs actually argue, saying lots of children are still playing. Either way, this is an irrelevant point. Having to gamble with real-life money to get some of the best items in a video game is complete bullshit. Case and point. And the developers are very aware of this, but the problem is no one plays it, and it is a very dead game.
Yeah, so I'll give a reference to a game that I play that I understand the criticism of the gambling aspect. But again, personally, I'm just not like the right person for this, right person for like this criticism because of like this practice. So I'll give the example of TFT. So if you want to own like the chibi Little Legend, you have to buy these orbs or some shit to open them up, and you have a chance to get like the chibi Yasuo or something like that, right? To get one of the chibi Little Legends, and it costs $200 to guarantee that you'll hit it. You can hit it on the first box. I have a problem with that. I see how it's predatory. Again, I just don't care because there's a lot of free cool stuff that you can get in the game. As long as there's a lot of cool free stuff that you can get in the game, I don't care. If their only way to get like the really cool stuff, and you could argue in TFT the chibi stuff is the coolest stuff, I personally don't think so. I like the Little Legends better than the chibis, and the Little Legends are very easy to acquire for free. Or if you want to buy the one that you particularly want, it's gonna be like $10. I did that. I bought one Little Legend. I've never changed my Little Legend for the past 3 years. I personally I see the problem because it like indoctrinates people into gambling and that sort of thing. But again, I've always thought of cosmetics as just something you opt into. And if you don't want to opt in to paying for your player to look a little cooler, then you just have to have self-control and don't do that. And I understand people don't like that, but it's just the world we're in. It's just, as we always say, it's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. Once corporate money goes into something that's super mainstream, this is just a result, and this is just the reality we live in. It's not going to change.
Compared to most,
you can get like the best things, or like the best thing, like it can be better. And I think monetization has gotten better despite it like becoming more prevalent. Because as long as you can't pay for power in majority of games or majority of the good games, as long as you can't pay for power, progression, and as long as you can acquire cool stuff for free, then I'm all gravy, baby.
MMOs. So this shady bullshit goes under the radar due to not enough players bitching about it. Trust me, I know. I used to stream it on Twitch pretty frequently. Beyond the games we've already discussed here, there are a handful of game franchises that were absolutely decimated by the introduction of microtransactions. Most notably, at least to me, was Dead Space, Halo, and of course, probably the most obvious coming into this video, Star Wars Battlefront. These games...
See, I dropped Halo after Halo Reach, and I dropped Battlefront after I played the first Battlefront, and it was like not very good.
in my eyes, were the major red flags in the buildup of increasingly shittier and more predatory games each year. Dead Space 3 was completely ruined with material.
See, I'd argue that I think monetization practices have gotten better. Despite them being more prevalent, I think they've gotten better in most of the games because of the pushback on like pay to power, pay to progression, probably because of this stuff, right? Of the games he's going to talk about. So hit us with it.
With real world money. Not to mention, the game sucked the fattest ass. Halo 5 suffered from the same problems, unfortunately, but to a larger degree. Not only was the game dog shit, but it also managed to shoehorn in a shitty loot box system, completely eroding the little trust Halo fans had with 343 at that time. And then we have this piece of shit. The straw that broke the camel's back. Oh yes, the game is.
I mean, Star Wars just. I personally just think these games suck. Just because I'm living in the nostalgia of the original Battlefronts, and those were so goated when I was a kid. And when I played these, it just did not hit.
Very much fun to play now, and a lot of the past problems have been fixed. But boy oh boy, back in 2017, this game was the embodiment of what AAA gaming had become. For those that don't know, when Star Wars Battlefront 2 was first released, it was quickly discovered it had broken all of the cardinal sins of gaming.
I remember this being talked about, but I don't know the deets. Hit me with it.
Did it introduce loot boxes to Star Wars Battlefront, but it had directly tied progression and upgrades to these newly monetized loot boxes, meaning the more money you spent, the better you would be at the game.
We love that. We love that.
And so, for the very first time in history, gamers rose from their moms' basements to protest this new form of tyranny. Thankfully, after all the backlash, EA was brutally and publicly executed on the internet. Rightly so, of course. Holy shit, it was fucking glorious. Even the government stepped in with legal action, causing so many memes to be born.
Do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games? Kerry?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
whatever term you wish to apply to them. Do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics. But
think about how
oh my
some initiative forward. Ask yourself this question first. Is this good for the player? 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 Is this...
I talk about this all the time, but it's, there's so much, especially with all the stuff going on with Blizzard lately, it's so much short-sighted, making money, not like thinking about like long-term investment and brand loyalty and like actually making a good experience and makes people come back and want to spend their money. There's so much short-sighted stuff like this right now, man.
It was so satisfying to watch one of the most depraved corporate gaming companies get publicly scalded in front of millions. It was beautiful. But to be honest with you, for me to say that it was beautiful is kind of copium, because the truth is I wanted all three of these games to succeed. I would much rather have them be massive hits rather than getting what we got. I adore these franchises, and I still do, but they have lost their way. It seems the Dead Space franchise has mostly bounced back and recovered with the Dead Space remake. I can't say the same for the other two games, and the betrayal is still very fresh in my memory. I could mention
Big sad. I love Halo. I love Halo. Halo 3 is one of my most favorite games of all time. I probably have more hours in Halo 3. I might have more hours in Halo 3 than any other game, maybe. Like, I love Halo. And I love Battlefront. I have so many hours in the original Battlefront games. Like, man,
mention 100
so sad.
other games that had the same downfall, but then this video would be 2 hours long. So now that I've bitched for about 5 minutes, let's really get down to fucking business.
All right.
This is the big kicker. This is the reason we are all here.
Hit me with it.
How the fuck did this happen? Why is gaming so ass nowadays? And how did we land ourselves in this situation?
Just
well,
corporatization.
I'll tell you. The problem is you. That's right, you and me. As it happens, some human beings aren't as smart as others. And unfortunately, we've all supported predatory microtransactions one way or another, whether we like it or not. And the unfortunate reality is, predatory microtransactions will always exist within video games. And do you know why? Because no matter if you, your family, and all of your friends, even your fucking dog, all stopped supporting predatory games and stopped buying their microtransactions, some stupid ass little pussy bitch will quadruple what you would have spent. Just so
Yeah, I mean, I get this. I don't really like this take. I didn't like it at first when he was saying that, because I kind of like where he went with it. I don't really like this take, and the reason why I don't really like this take is I just don't think the responsibility is on the player ever, because this is like complaining about a red apple being red. You know, complaining about a fact. Like, it's just a fact that this is going, like, people are going to want to pay for this. You know, like, if you put it there, people will pay for it. And that is his take. But, like, I don't think the take should be blaming that, because it's just reality. Like, it's just complaining about something that is out of your control. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is, man. People are different, and this will happen. If you present the opportunity, people will take it. And I know that's like kind of his take, but I just don't think the blame is on the people spending the money, because it's just what it is. You know, you should blame the people who created the scenario that that this is. And that's like the overall take of his video, but I just don't really like this take
he
that
can
much.
be better in a video game. Or some lonely coomer dumbass will continue buying stupid ass thirsty phone games. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way to push back against this insanity is to speak with your wallet. But the reality is, we've shit in our own bed and we continue doing so. So now the only option is to sleep in it, because we have no choice.
Speak with your wallet. I think that only makes sense in the regards of like the games that you choose to buy or the games that you choose to continue playing. I don't think it really works, like, to the point he was already making. Like, if all of you stop paying, there will still be people who will, right? But I think like the only way you can actually make a difference is we just don't play the games that do those things. And I think that's what's already been happening is people get really upset when the monetization practices make you pay for progression and people stop playing the game. It's set for mobile games. People just they just accept it and keep doing it. But like on PC games, and I would imagine on console games, people are pretty fed up with that stuff. And as long as it's just like cosmetics, I think most people are fine. Yeah, this to me is just not going to change. Like, the microtransaction is not going away. The genie's out of the bottle. It's not going away. The only way that we can make it amicable for us, and I think a lot of the games are becoming very amicable in the way they choose to monetize through battle passes, microtransactions, that sort of thing. The only way we can make it amicable is by choosing to not play the games that do the bullshit. And I think it's already been happening, but like, there's no going back. We're not going back. We can't. Gaming is too mainstream. We can't go back. The only way we go back is if like our whole current capitalist system collapses or slowly erodes over time, which it probably will. It's sometime in the next decade or so. But like, that is, you know, we're not getting out.